अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स। आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है इंटरप्रेन्योरशिप से हमने लिया है 11th क्लास के लिए। दैट इज़ फैक्टर्स इफेक्टिंग इंटरप्रेन्योरशिप ग्रोथ सेकंड, यानी कि ये हमारा आज इसी टॉपिक को यानी कि हम कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं। कल भी हमारा यही टॉपिक था, अधूरा रह गया था, तो आज हम इसी टॉपिक को कंटिन्यू करेंगे। तो कल हम पढ़े थे इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर्स, तो नॉन इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर्स में भी थोड़ा हमने लेजिटिमेसी ऑफ एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डिस्कस किया था। आज इसको थोड़ा सा फिर रिपीट करेंगे कि ये जो लेजिटिमेसी है, लेजिटिमेसी ऑफ एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, इसी के बारे में पहले हम डिस्कस करेंगे। The proponents of non-economic factors give emphasis to the relevance of a system of norms and values within a socio-cultural setting for the emergence of entrepreneurship. In professional vocabulary, such system is referred to as the legitimacy. इसको legitimacy कहते हैं of entrepreneurship, in which the degree of approval or disapproval granted entrepreneurial behavior influences its emergence and characteristics if it does emerge. While Schemter recognizes the importance of such legitimacy in terms of appropriate social climate for entrepreneurship, Kocheran calls it cultural themes and sanctions. The social status of those playing entrepreneurial role has been considered one of the most important contents of entrepreneurial legitimacy. To increase the legitimacy of entrepreneurship, some scholars have proposed the need for a change in the traditional values, which are assumed to be opposed by entrepreneurship. Scholars like Maxland have also pointed out that that a complete change may not be necessary for entrepreneurial appearance. Instead, they submit a reinterpretation of the traditional values or its synthesis with the newer values to increase the entrepreneurial legitimacy. We do also believe that entrepreneurship will be more likely to emerge in setting in which legitimacy is high. But there are others too who took the opinion that entrepreneurship can emerge even when entrepreneurial legitimacy is low or even negative, provided that the government actions can overcome the negative orientations. तो ये तो हम कल भी इस पे डिस्कस किया था लेजिटिमेसी के बारे में। आगे हम चलेंगे, दैट इज सोशल मोबिलिटी. Social mobility involves the degree of mobility, both social and geographical, and the nature of mobility channels within a system. The opinion that the social mobility is crucial for entrepreneurial emergence is not unanimous. Some hold the view that a high degree of mobility is conducive to entrepreneurship. Both Housley's need for openness of a system and Maxland's need for flexibility in role relations imply the need for the possibility of mobility within a system for entrepreneurship development. In contrast, there is another group of scholars who express the view that a lack of mobility possibilities promotes entrepreneurship. Some even speak of entrepreneurship as coming through crevices in a rigid social system. The third opinion is a combination of the first two. Rostow notes the needs for both flexibility and the denial of social mobility. Brozen similarly emphasizes that a system should neither be too rigid nor too flexible. According to him, if it is too flexible, then individual will gravitate towards other roles, If it is too rigid, entrepreneurship will be restricted along with other activities. One earlier study on entrepreneurship also occurs by and large with Brosnan's point of view with regard to the relationship between social mobility and the emergence of entrepreneurship. What is particularly important is the patterning of mobility channels. Our study brought home the point that the movement of young and educated males not only results in denudation of the potential entrepreneurs in the region, but also the returned migrants did not assume entrepreneurial roles because of inter alia, their lack of business knowledge due to their mobility channels to the armed forces. It is also pointed out that the degree and nature of social mobility alone is not likely to influence entrepreneurship, but its influence is largely determined by other non-economic factors. तो आगे हम चलेंगे, that is marginality. A group of scholars hold a strong view that social marginality also promotes entrepreneurship. They believe that individuals or groups on the perimeter of a given social system or between two social systems provide the personnel to assume the entrepreneurial roles. They may be drawn from religious, cultural, ethnic, or migrant minority groups, and their marginal social position is generally believed to have psychological effects which make entrepreneurship particularly attractive for them. The two preceding factors, the legitimacy and the entrepreneurship and of entrepreneurship and social mobility, largely determine the influence of marginality or on entrepreneurship. In situations in which entrepreneurial legitimacy is low, mainstream individuals will be diverted to non-entrepreneurial roles and the entrepreneurial roles will be relegated to marginals. On the contrary, in the case of high entrepreneurial legitimacy, mainstream individuals will assume the entrepreneurship and marginals will have to find other roles as means of mobility. From the social mobility point of view, marginal individuals and groups will be restricted. By definition, from access to the established mobility channels in a situation, thus mainstream individuals and groups will have primary access to these channels. As such, marginals are likely to play entrepreneurial roles in a situation. तो आगे हम चलेंगे सिक्योरिटी पे. Several scholars have advocated entrepreneurial security as an important facilitator of entrepreneurial behaviors, yet scholars are not consensus on the amount of security that is needed. While Cole suggests minimal security, McClelland speaks of moderate certainty. For example, however, Peterson and Berger maintains that entrepreneurship is more likely to emerge under turbulent conditions than under conditions of equilibrium. Redlich provides the middle position in this regard when he suggests that insecurity does not hinder entrepreneurship, but rather that different kinds of insecurity will result in different kinds of entrepreneurship. तो आगे हम चलेंगे, that is psychological factors. Many entrepreneurial theorists have produced theories of entrepreneurship that concentrate specifically upon psychological factors. We consider these theories separately for that reason. अलग से इन पे बात होगी. नीड अचीवमेंट, यानी कि एक यहाँ पे जो फैक्टर है दैट इज़ नीड अचीवमेंट, वो साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर है. To the best of our knowledge, the best known of primarily psychological theories is David McClelland's theory of need achievement. According to Maxland, a constellation of personality characteristics which are indicative of high need achievement is the major determinant of entrepreneurship development. Therefore, if the average level of need achievement in a society is relatively high, one would expect a relatively high amount of entrepreneurship development in that society. In his endeavor to answer a simple question as to why it is that group respond differently to similar conditions, Maxland gives the psychological concept of achievement motivation or need achievement to account for the differences in response to similar conditions. Referring to the encouraging impact of achievement motivation, training program was organized by the Small Industries Extension Training Institute, that is SIET Hyderabad. Maxland argues that the need achievement can be developed through the intensive training programs. So last one है, that is withdrawal of status respect. Hagen attributed the withdrawal of status respect of a group to the genesis of entrepreneurship. Giving a brief sketch of history of Japan, he concludes that she developed sooner than any non-Western society except Russia due to two historical differences. First, Japan had been free from colonial disruption, and secondly, the repeated long continued withdrawal of expected status from important groups, samurai, in her society drew them to retreatism, which caused them to emerge alienated from traditional values with increased creativity. This very fact led them to the technological progress of entrepreneurial roles. Hagen believes that the initial condition leading to eventual entrepreneurial behavior is the loss of status by a group. He postulates that four types of events can produce status withdrawal. The group may be displaced by force. It may have its valued symbols designated. It may have its valued symbols denigrated. It may drift into a situation of status inconsistency, and it may not be accepted the expected status on migration in a new society. He further postulates that withdrawal of status respect would give rise to four possible reactions and create four different personality types. Retreatist, he who continues to work in a society but remains different to his work and position. Ritualist, he who adopts a kind of defensive behavior and acts in the way accepted and approved in his society but no hopes of improving his position. Reformist, he is a person who foments a rebellion and attempts to establish a new society. And innovation, that is the last one, he is a creative individual and is likely to be an entrepreneur. Hagen maintains that once status withdrawal has occurred, the sequence of change in personality formation is set in motion. He refers that status withdrawal takes a long period of time, as much as 5 or 4 more generations, to result in the emergence of entrepreneurship. Thanks.